Every morning, as the first light cuts through the darkness, we are given a chance. Not just to start a new day, but to reaffirm our commitment to live with purpose, resilience, and unwavering inner strength. The Stoics, those ancient sages who walked the path of reason and restraint, understood that the morning is a sacred time, a time to prepare the mind and spirit for the challenges ahead. They knew that how we begin our day shapes the rest of it, and ultimately, the course of our lives. Here are 7 morning practices rooted in Stoic wisdom, meant to fortify your soul, sharpen your mind, and empower you to face whatever the day brings. 1. Embrace the dawn with gratitude. The Stoics believed that every day we wake up is a gift, not an entitlement. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote in his Meditations, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This is not about blind optimism, but an acknowledgement of life's fragility and the value of every moment. Gratitude, in Stoic terms, isn't about counting blessings, but about recognizing the power of your own resilience. When we start our day with gratitude, we arm ourselves with a mindset that no setback, no challenge, can diminish our sense of inner worth. We learn to see the world not as something that owes us comfort, but as a training ground for our virtues. 2. Reflect on the day ahead. Premeditatio malorum. One of the most powerful Stoic practices is premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Seneca, a statesman and philosopher, taught us to rehearse the day's potential hardships in our minds. This isn't to wallow in negativity, but to prepare ourselves mentally for whatever may come. Seneca would advise his students to visualize the possible difficulties of the day, an argument with a colleague, an unexpected failure, a moment of temptation, and to see themselves responding with calm and dignity. Consider Epictetus, born a slave and later a revered teacher. He didn't shy away from imagining adversity. He faced it head-on, reminding us that it is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them. By anticipating challenges, we don't create fear. We cultivate a readiness to act wisely. We start the day knowing that no obstacle can catch us off guard, for we have already met it in our minds. 3. Set intentions with purpose. Each morning before we engage with the world, we must set clear intentions. The Stoics teach us that every action should be deliberate, tied to a higher purpose, and rooted in our values. Marcus Aurelius would often remind himself, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." We must define our virtues, courage, patience, humility, and let them guide our actions. Take the example of Cato the Younger, known for his unwavering integrity. He lived in a time of great political turmoil, yet every day he set his intention to remain honest, even when surrounded by corruption. Cato's mornings were not about gaining power or favor. They were about staying true to his principles, no matter the cost. When we set our intentions, we are not just planning our day. We are declaring the kind of person we aim to be. 4. Engage in silence and stillness. In the quiet of the morning, we find the space to connect with ourselves. Marcus Aurelius often took time alone before sunrise, reflecting deeply on his thoughts and actions. He believed that true strength comes not from outward conquest, but from inner stillness. "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul," he wrote. Silence is not an escape, but a confrontation with our inner world. It is in these moments that we meet our fears, our ambitions, our anxieties. By sitting with our thoughts, we learn to observe them without being controlled by them. Epictetus would remind his students, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In stillness, we accept our imperfections, and in doing so, begin the work of refining our character. 5. Cultivate self-control through physical movement. For the Stoics, the body was not separate from the mind. It was an extension of it. Physical discipline was seen as a way to train the will. Seneca often practiced endurance through cold baths, fasting, or simple living to remind himself that comfort is not a necessity, but a choice. He would say, Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" Engaging in physical exercise each morning, whether through rigorous training or a mindful walk, serves as a practice of self-control. We do not move for vanity but to discipline the body and, through it, the mind. This ritual reinforces the Stoic belief that we are capable of more than we think, and that mastery over the self begins with small, consistent acts of control. 6. Recite or read a Stoic thought. Every morning, let the wisdom of the Stoics be your guide. Read a passage, recite a quote, or meditate on a lesson from one of the greats. Whether it's the writings of Marcus Aurelius, the sharp insights of Epictetus, or the letters of Seneca. These words are not ancient relics but living truths that speak to our modern struggles. Consider the words of Epictetus. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Reflecting on such a thought can shift our entire mindset for the day, reminding us that contentment comes not from accumulation, but from understanding the sufficiency of the present moment. These texts act as our compass, steering us back to the virtues of resilience, wisdom, and self-control. 7. End with affirmation and detachment. As we complete our morning rituals, we affirm our commitment to live virtuously, but we do so with the understanding of amor fati, the love of fate. This is the Stoic practice of embracing whatever life brings, not as a passive acceptance, but as an active engagement with the present. We let go of our attachment to outcomes and instead focus on our actions. Think of Marcus Aurelius, who governed Rome in times of plague, war, and personal loss. Despite his power, he constantly reminded himself of his own mortality and the impermanence of all things. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength, he wrote. This practice of detachment does not mean indifference. It means placing value on the only thing we truly control, our responses. Each morning is a new battle, a new opportunity to shape ourselves through discipline and intention. The Stoics remind us that the path to greatness is not found in grand achievements, but in the quiet, consistent refinement of our character. As we embrace these practices, we prepare not just to face the world, but to master the self. We are not here to seek comfort. We are here to strive, to endure, and to become stronger with each day that dawns. This is the Stoic way. This is our way. And as the day begins, so do we, unbroken, unyielding, and true.